Council nice hair, right? I know exactly. Pop Demasi. You're a well-educated man. That's great. Yeah.
Well, I'm a Christian. Sometimes I hate to say it because it associates me with people that I do not share.
Hey, we have many Muslims that we wouldn't want to be associated with. So I feel you. Go ahead.
But yeah, the same. We have our extremists and fundamentalists
Right.
in
Of
our
course.
who are can be just as violent as some of them.
Spanish Inquisition, the
yes,
KKK,
horrible, yes.
yeah, IRA, the FARC. We got you.
And I believe in our faith, we don't stand up against them enough.
Right.
Is it? You feel it's the same situation in your?
I would say we do stand up against them. We don't get the airplay that we should standing up. For example,
We don't hear the voice. We don't hear we're not played on our news. The voices
same
of
thing.
your faith standing up against them.
same thing with us. So more Muslims get killed by ISIS and by these people than anybody else. And many Muslims, like many scholars we know, they wrote against them, they spoke out against them, they were killed by them. But Fox News never interviews us. Like they never call us and say, what do you think? You know, they get the extremists, video clips, they play those, and then they get some crazy right-wing, racist, bigoted guy, and then they play him. So our voice, even though the big, vast majority of the Muslims are loudly condemning all forms of terrorism, but nobody gives them airplay.
You're on
and
Fox News. Nobody's standing up against it. There's not a
right.
voice.
Oh, I mean, we had every single major Muslim organization in the U.S. and around the world condemn attacks that come out, but that never gets airplay. And we have talked to any regular Muslim you meet on the street, they will condemn terrorism right away. And there's 1.6 billion Muslims, right?
Terrorism is not a religious.
That's true. It's true.
Socioeconomic and clash of culture.
That is true. I mean, if you look at the first strapping bomb suicide bombing was the Tamil Tigers. They come from a Hindu background. You look at kamikazes. You look at the IRA. You look at the FARC. You look at all these kinds of organizations. I mean, the first use of explosions of buildings for political cause were by Zionists. So historically, you're exactly right. But the media puts its spin. And we're here trying to clear up these misconceptions. We're here speaking, right? But you never, I mean, you can see videos of the right wings coming and trying to attack and fight, and we just, you know, yeah, well, I'll show you the video later, yeah.
Really?
But you know, we
They
just,
call themselves Christian.
yeah, and they were very adamant about being Christian and used very vulgar language, and
Even though he would never do that, I'd like to say Jesus.
And I mean, he had- I believe if Jesus was here, he would be very disappointed by most of the Christians and the shirk that they do today. That is
Same
true.
way he turned over the money tables in the temple, he would do the
Exactly,
same.
exactly,
The antithesis
exactly.
Of all of that stuff. Yeah, I believe that what's causing this whole Islamic terrorism is a socioeconomic issue of
And I get-
disenfranchisement of people and a culture that a group of people that look at the world coming into their world and saying, I don't have a chance to compete in this. People don't destroy what they have a chance to be a part of.
I agree with you, and I would take it a step further. I mean, if you look at Iraq, historically there was no ISIS in Iraq before the U.S. invasion. There was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq.
Puppet regimes created all that.
Right, and then you had an invasion of a country that had nothing to do with 9/11, that had nothing to do with actually attacking the U.S. by any shape or form. Saddam was put in place by the U.S. to put a check on Iran. And then you had an invasion, killing, armies taken out, and then you make a situation where people band together to protect themselves, and then those groups are going to morph into something you didn't want. If you look at Afghanistan, when the same people were fighting the Russians, Reagan was invited into the White House calling them freedom fighters. And when the same people fought the U.S. invasion, right?
We armed them all.
Yeah, all those weapons that, you know, even if you look at ISIS today, if you look at their videos, they have American weapons, they have American cars. So please, feel free.
I've never read it.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Sounds great talking. I'll show you that video if you have a. Yusuf, Musa to je Dawat welcome.
You're walking down the street, you guys get crap just.
Sometimes, yeah. Hey, we get all kinds of stuff. This is like being black during the 50s or whatever, you know. You get a lot of civil rights. I mean, you get followed by people. Yeah. We're randomly chosen for secondary inspection, more randomly than anybody else. We are quite random, apparently.
Well, yeah, I've been chosen once for secondary inspection because I bought a last-minute ticket to fly somewhere, and that's the only time I was ever randomly.
I get chosen almost every single time that I fly, so.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's all right. You know, we kind of get.
Profile.
Yeah, we get used to it. You try to just use it as. So this was. Hold on real quick. This was them. So this was. You see, that's them. Believing Jesus or burn in hell.
Those are the same people that have like Jesus hates fags kind of.
They had the flag too, yeah, the flag sign, yeah.
Okay, they're not really Christians. I mean,
Yeah.
I gave you answers already.
And they
Don't like it?
try to push people. They get in, they were telling my son, I want to shoot you in the head, terrorist boy, and stuff. I was like, wow, that's pretty Christian-like of you.
did anybody say with Jesus? Was there one example of Jesus doing
Well,
anything?
they don't actually listen. That's the problem. We tried to talk to them. We try to talk about peace. We try to talk about the actual message, and they don't want to listen. They're just arguing and screaming. This is the and this is the same people that go to the West Road Church and all that. They go to like funerals of soldiers and say we want more dead soldiers. Same people that go and kill doctors who do abortions or whatever. And you may have an opinion, but just killing people like that's a whole different issue.
Those aren't even the ones that make me not want to call myself a Christian. It's even just the normal fundamentalists that would condemn that. They still bother me.
Yeah, and but I'm appreciative that there's people like you that are open-minded, that love to discuss. And please, feel free.
Thank you very much.
All right,
What's your name?
Uthman.
Sean.
Sean, nice to meet you.